Welcome to THALIR. This is a place called Bud. This is budding forth for a new life, and we are Capuchins working for the renewal of the society and the church. Dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, welcome to the Capuchin online ministries organized by the Salonas KC THALIR Center, Viluppuram, India. Today, the 3rd of October, is the day of TRANSITUS of St.FRANCIS of Assisi. We are very happy to have Reverend Brother Anthony Raj from Coimbatore, South India, to give us the special message on the TRANSITUS. Welcome, Brother Anthony Raj.
Wish you a happy feast of St. Francis of Assisi to all my friends and all the Franciscan family members. I'm happy to give a message on TRANSITUS. Friends, after the announcement of being a state religion, Christianity began to spread throughout the world, by which the religious founders began to found the orders according to their own charisms in following the footsteps of our Lord Jesus. They too had disciples and thus to carry out their charism. Indeed, the precise moment of the holy founders TRANSITUS from St. Antony the Great to until the time of St. Francis of Assisi is not only the awaited passage from their world to the next, it is also the dangerous passage from personal charism to an institutional designed, increasingly idealized by the hagiographers, and the necessary insertion by the church and the influence of the society. So at first glance, what we see, a founder is the one who focused on the life after, while his disciples insisted on the life here on earth. At the time of the founder's death, of course, there are rituals and sacraments, communion, extreme unction, the sign of the cross, the farewell and words of Jesus who prayed the Psalms, "Into your hands, Lord, I commend my spirit." Great attention is paid to the day of the week on which the death occurs, if it is a Friday or Saturday or Sunday. The liturgical calendar is used to slightly indicate the Christological meaning of these deaths, and so full of promise. In short, the death of a holy founder should be a death that is both holy and foundational, for to found is certainly an essential function of holiness. There is the deliberate contrast between terra polerante, cielo gaudante, earth weeps while heaven rejoices, between the cry of the disciples begotten by the gospel, "Father, you are orphans," and the joyful enthusiasm of the saint about to die. Second, besides these general circumstances, there emerge some similarities among the founders who experienced death. Despite obstacles, the eremitic way of life is claimed by Anthony, Eugendus, Nilus, Romuald, and John Galbert. What dominates in this case is that at the time of the death of the founders, the part played by them was the instruments of asceticism, bare ground, ashes, and hair shirt. Dominic, like a new Christ, surrounds himself with 12 disciples in order to die. Romuald does not want anyone around him. He does not say a word, and he withdraws to a secluded place, while his brothers wait anxiously at the door for his last breath. Third, besides the commonplaces and the ways of dying, all founders wonder about what their last words to their disciples should be. Dominic says that he will be more useful to his brothers dead than alive. Some use the occasion to proclaim articles of faith. John Galbert recites the creeds. Bruno insistently repeats the dogma of the Eucharist. Robert of Arbisel says his credo. When Benedict has his grave dug 6 days before his death, he repeats Anthony's counsel: live each day as if you are going to die. The first holy founder, Pachomius, speaks of a terrible tribulations to come, like Hippotheos and Francis of Assisi after him. The fourth theme in these holy deaths is the fate of the saint's body. This is a major concern of the founder, who indeed has more on his mind than the salvation of his soul. First, like the fish that returns to the sea, he or she wants to be brought back to his or her place, says the life of Anthony, who returns to the interior mountains, his habitual dwelling place. Benedict of Aniani is afraid he will die at the imperial court and is eager to return to his monastery. So we move on to the life of St. Francis of Assisi. The Franciscan order has been marked by division since its beginning. After 1220, two concepts of the movement appear. It is seen either as a lay fraternity animated by an uncompromising gospel spirit, as an institutional, official clerical order. The conflict, which explodes in broad daylight after the death of the founder, has never ceased since then. Rigorists versus moderates, spirituals versus the community, observants and conventuals, right up until the Franciscan question raised by Paul Sabatier a century ago. In the sources and in the studies, everything testifies to this division. But Francis had foreseen the rupture and tried to remedy it. As Raul Mancelli shows in a brilliant article, Mancelli focuses on the blessing given by the dying saint to his brothers, and he notices the first contradiction in the accounts by Thomas of Celano. The first life says that Francis, about to die, gave his blessing only to Brother Elias, whereas the second life explains that this blessing was given to all, beginning with the vicar. Raul Mancelli proposes to solve the contradiction by means of mutual complementarity. The deeds which are partitioned rightly recall a double blessing, but the legend of Perugia has recorded the precious words in favor of Bernard. These words, even while emphasizing the respect due the first companion ipso facto, make it possible to exclude him as head of the order. Just as the testament balances the later rule, so the blessing given to Bernard, a spiritual model, counterbalances the choices of Elias as vicar. Side by side, the founder wanted to have not only a succession of heads, but a continuity of saints. Francis is more advanced. He tries to unite the two parts of the individual at once, both Martha and Mary, like the two functions of the church, militant or triumphant. Not many followed them on these steep slopes. Not many, in fact, really wanted to understand them. As for Francis' wishes with regard to his burial, we are left with speculations. No matter what the obstacles, he wanted to be brought back to the Persian to die there, in that place which for him is another guarantee of the purity and unity of his order. He dies on a Saturday. Jordan of Jano, around 1262, says that he would have liked to be buried at Porciungla. The day after his death, the inhabitants of Assisi take charge of his body, and the bishop places it in the church of St. George of at Assisi. Then Brother Elias, with the help of the Pope Gregory IX and with many contributions, builds a splendid crypt. Finally, but in Western medieval society, saints are both marginal and central, on the side and at the pinnacle, detached from the world and caught up by it, like their precious relics we fight over. This is especially true of holy founders who usually experience themselves a frustrated vocation to the desert and end up praised and attacked by the crowd. Let us turn from historical detail to the functions of holiness revealed by the death of holy founders. Certainly, there are theological functions through their institutes, through their bodies which are planted there. Holy founders have marked off Western space. They have changed our ordinary places into holy places. Amen. God bless you all.